Welcome to Inside Zede's Sewing Studio, the sewing show filmed in front of a live studio audience.
This is Mallory Donahue. I'm Zede Donahue.
Our first guest today is Reba Donahue. She's Mom's dog.
That's right.
And we are going to talk about a bizarre sewing project that Zede had to do. Actually, not for this dog originally, but she models the garment pretty well. So
that's right.
You want to talk about...
It's a little bit big for her.
Yes. You want to talk about this garment and how we're going to put it on Reba and why it was made.
Okay. Actually, it wound up being a dog corset, but it was for a medical reason. The previous dog that wore this had a wound basically in the groin area here, and we were having all this trouble keeping a dressing on it. And the dog needed what is called a wet to dry dressing. We had to pack the wound every day. And then it had to be able to also be to air so it would dry out.
Well, and we were having trouble with what was provided, right?
Well, we were trying vet wrap, which is what is usually used, and it was just digging into this wound. We were just having all this trouble. And after we dealt with it for about, 3 or 4 days, the dog was getting worse off and more infected and all this, and we had it debrided and all this. And my husband says, I think that dog's going to die. And I said, I think I have an idea. So my idea was to make this corset. And unlike a human, a dog only gets smaller. And that was part of the problem with the dressing, because it would just roll back and we needed the dressing to stay in place. So my idea was I had one of my other daughters go get this harness so that I could Velcro this onto the harness and it wouldn't slide backwards.
Right, so we've got these Velcro tabs. Hey,
right.
Look this way.
And poor Reba, it's not even her
it's not
corset.
It wasn't made for Reba.
Right. On the other side, there's a ventilation panel that you can't see. Maybe we can
turn her around.
But over the top, what I did, now this is made with...
She's turning around for us.
Is she?
Yeah.
You're going to turn around?
You turn around. She knew what we needed.
I have such a smart dog.
Yes.
So this is actually the ventilation panel. I don't know whether you can see it or not, but that's fabric.
Yeah, it's made out of mesh.
Right.
So that dressing could dry. And this corset is stiff so that it would...
There's actually boning in the corset so
right.
that it stays stiff and doesn't roll on her. And we could get the dressing in there. And then we could do this over the back. This is actually a little big for her. The other dog was a little bit larger. So we had adjustment capability the way that it Velcros over the back here. And that dog was pure black, so it was really cute that I had this, black dog walking around in my yard in women's underwear. But it did help, and we got her cured by doing a dressing. We had dog hospital for 6 weeks, and we got her all fixed up because she had a corset. The vet was very impressed. My daughter took her to the vet for him to check it out, and he was so impressed. And then he started putting it back on with the new dressing, and she said, no, wait, we have another one.
We have another one.
So we would take it off, wash the one, and switch out every day while the other one was drying. So anyway, thank you, Reba, for being such a good model.
And tell us, what machine did you do these these buttonholes on?
I think these are Bernina buttonholes. I can't tell you which Bernina because I don't remember which one I was using at the time.
Clearly, it's very comfortable,
right? And
your dog can enjoy life and get better. But this is how sewing can save lives.
That's right.
So keep that in mind. If you have some sort of animal crisis, you may want to consult with the expert. Just
absolutely.
Shoot us an email. There's no guarantees, but we might be able to help. Isn't that right?
So just think about what you might have sewn that was so bizarre. I have other stories. I can remember other things that I have sewn that were bizarre. So
well, and we asked our audience. We on Facebook and on Pinterest. We asked what other sewing projects have they done that are out of the ordinary, that are bizarre. Bizarre, B-I-Z, not for a church bazaar. Because I had someone who asked that. They said, "What? I don't think they sell dog corsets at my church bazaar." I said, no, probably not. So anyway, and one of our people who responded was a customer here at the store named Betty, and we're going to be interviewing her daughter next about her beekeeping suit, actually. So stay tuned. How would you like to win these sulky blendable threads? Well, you can, after they're done performing. Come on, guys. We gotta go. Just click the link in the video description and comment on our blog. Good luck! Okay, I'm here with Sarah, and we're going to talk about how her mom, Betty, made her a beekeeping suit, another one of our features on the Bizarre Sewing Projects this month. So, first of all, Sarah, beekeeping is not a very common hobby. So will you tell us a little bit about how you got into it?
Well, yeah, this is actually my first year as a beekeeper. We just set up our hive about 3 weeks ago, and my whole life I've been begging my parents for every pet hobby under the sun, and I'm 23 and that hasn't stopped. So this time they actually said yes because they were interested too. So my dad and I actually watched a documentary about colony collapse disorder. And after that I said it would be really neat to set up a beehive because they say small beehives are what's going to help fix this problem. And he agreed. So then we started doing a lot of research. And yeah, like I said, 3 weeks ago we set up our hive for the first time and things are still going well.
So talk to us about colony collapse. This is public service announcement from inside Zede Sewing Studio.
Right, well it's been in the news a lot in the past few years, but basically it has just been this unexplained disaster where hundreds and hundreds of beehives just disappear. The bees just leave and they don't come back, and it's presumed that they die because they're not at home. But
they're not like going to Mars, or we don't know. We don't know where
and
they're
it's not
going.
cell phones. They don't think. But they say that if it were a disease or something, that there would be evidence around. And so what they're starting to think is that it's these huge pollination operations, which I also did not know about, but they are sent out to orchards to pollinate the orchards for things like fruit and almonds, and then the orchards use these systemic pesticides, and so after several generations of being exposed to that, the bees eventually just have a damaged nervous system and they don't find their way home. So it's very upsetting, and obviously bees are very important for all of the food that we eat.
Isn't there, do you know the Einstein quote about the bee? Maybe you know it better
Well, I
than
don't know it exactly,
Okay.
but basically within 3 years of the bees disappearing, humans will disappear. And I think, that's very extreme, but it's serious because they say that 3/4 of the food that we eat is pollinated by bees somehow. So they're very interesting and obviously very important. So we thought that this would be a fun hobby that also had some positive environmental impact.
So we saved a dog, and Sarah's going to save the world.
That's my plan.
Yeah, I played Angry Birds this weekend, and Sarah, put up her beehive. So anyway, we're doing our part to get the word out. But you, when you handle the bees, is it dangerous? Or obviously there are beekeeping suits. Tell us a little bit about the protective gear that is required.
Right. Well, when you're setting up a beehive, there's all sorts of equipment that you can get into, and so we wanted to see how much of it we could do ourselves. So we built the beehive ourselves with cedar from our family's farm.
Wow.
So we thought, in keeping with the spirit, we would see if my mom could make us a bee suit instead of buying one. And basically, bees are not inherently dangerous, but they are likely to sting when you're messing with their home, which is what happens every time you go out and open up their hive. So part of the protection is just so that you're protected from stings, but also we've found that a lot of it is psychological. So I'm not going to get stung, so then you're not nervous and you can act more calmly around them, and so you're less likely to kill them or drop something or forget what you're doing. So the premise is that you have some light-colored, loose-fitting shirt or jacket or something, and then some sort of hat or veil covering your head, and those are the basic things. Some people don't wear gloves, but we do because we're still
You're new at this,
right?
Sure.
And then we also will just wear pants tucked into our socks so they can't crawl in anywhere dark, and we'll
Scary.
discover them
Yep.
later, right? But they say that you want to wear something light-colored because in nature one of their major predators is bears, and so when you wear something dark, they think that you're coming to steal their honey, which you might be
kind of
doing.
are, so.
Right. So anyway, my mom, who is a far more skilled seamstress
Very
than I,
accomplished seamstress, Betty is.
yeah,
yes.
she decided to take this on, and so what she did was this is an old shirt of my dad's, and he has one too, and his says Drone Keith, which we found is actually kind of derogatory because drones don't really do anything, but they're the only males in the hive.
How rude.
Exactly. But she took an old shirt, so it's plenty loose on me.
So this is like your dad's old shirt. Okay.
And she took off all the buttons and she sewed up the buttonholes and covered the whole thing with Velcro. And then she put this Velcro around the top.
So this creates a very tight seal that
Right.
buttons would not create on their own. So that's why she replaced it with the Velcro.
Right. When you think about buttons, you know, there's a 2 or 3 inch gap there,
Absolutely.
and that's plenty of space for a bee to crawl in. And then she also put some Velcro around the wrists. So basically what you do is we'll put the hat on first, and she made this with 4 yards of tulle folded over a couple times, and then sewn to this hat that we found at a garage sale. It's very stylish.
Ah.
And, exactly. Yeah. So it's vented at the top, and it has this tulle that is kind of hard to see through, but obviously better than having your face exposed.
This is kind of a stiff tool. I don't know if you guys can tell that from me, touching it and playing with it. But I'd like to maybe ask Betty, or do you know? Could you have chosen a lighter tool? It seems like some of the veils I see seem almost like a bridal veil, like very wispy, very, very light and gossamer.
And she did do some research and found that a lot of them do use this. And I think part of it is that you can, the way that you tuck it in around your neck, you can make kind of a flat front that doesn't move around a lot.
So you can shape it. So the
Right.
stiffer stuff is preferable.
Right, and some commercial bee suits will actually have like a wire mesh that's very rigid. So this is kind of our compromise. And yeah, it's just long and hemmed at the bottom, and we'll put that on first and tuck it in, and then with this Velcro, just cinch it around and make sure that we're all sealed up and put our gloves on.
And is the embroidery so that the bees know who they're talking to?
Well,
it's like, hello, my name is Sarah.
We don't think that the bees speak English, but we appreciate the embroidery, and my mom can't do any project without a little embroidery. So there had to be some on it, but I think that it turned out pretty well.
And she did this on her Bernina.
She did.
She wanted to do a shout out.
Yes.
Betty's a big Bernina fan.
Yes.
And this bee, I wonder where that's from. Maybe we can get that information from her.
Yeah, I do not know.
But that's great that she personalized it. So I know it's not the most flattering outfit, but could we maybe get a shot of you?
Yeah, it's kind of a 2-person assembly
All
thing.
right,
So will
I'm
you
here
help me
for
put
you.
it on?
Yeah, absolutely. So just tell me what to do. Tell me how to help you.
Well, put this on and draw a lot of attention from the neighbors is
All right.
step number 2. And then I'll just hold this around here and...
Okay, so you need to hold, here, step this way and I'll come behind you and put it on. Great. And I need to tuck in your veil in the back, right? Okay, I'm doing so.
And then since I can control how...
you can control your own screen in front.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'll
Hold
just
on,
hold it in place.
There we go.
Got it.
Okay, you face me. There we go. We've got you.
See, there's lots of
Funny.
of Velcro.
All right, and it is tight, isn't it? It is not it's a loose fitting garment, but it's not. You're very secure in there.
Right. Which is, like I said, you want to go out and feel confident that a bee is not going to sneak into your shirt.
So then
while
you
you're
can adjust it. And here, turn toward the camera. And this is really neat how she's done this with this Velcro tab. So you can kind of do that. I don't know. I hope I didn't choke you or anything.
no, I'm still breathing.
But yeah. So that is how you would go out and take care of your bees. And thanks, Betty. Thanks, Sarah, for modeling the costume. So, okay, as Sarah's getting undressed here, do we have any questions? We have a question from the audience. Do you tuck your shirt into your pants? You wear special pants?
Well, there are, like I said, the commercial beekeeping suits. You can buy one that has a full jacket and pants and everything. You can also buy just a jacket. But this, since it's really open at the bottom, we talked about maybe adding elastic or something, but what I do is I just wear like running pants or leggings, and so I can tuck them in and then just tuck those into my socks.
So have there been any breaches?
Well, when we were installing the hive, which was when we had the least idea what we were doing.
Yeah, right.
We went out there and we talked about it beforehand, and we had our game plan, and they come in a big screen box, and so we went and we opened up the hive and we went to dump the box in, and you take the queen out separately and you deal with her. And I was doing this and my dad was helping me shake the bees in, and then he just walked away, and it turned out his glove had separated from his sleeve, and he said that he felt something kind of fuzzy on his hand, and he walked away and he just had a glove full of bees. So no stings. They were confused and so were we, and he said he just took his glove off and he shook them out, and then he walked back over and helped me. But yeah, we've had a couple minor breaches like that, but other than that, it's it's been pretty smooth sailing.
So it's pretty important to stay calm. You noticed your dad was walking away. You just let that go. He was calm about the bees. It takes a certain caliber of person, seems like, to raise the bees. Other questions? Question is, are you planning to harvest the honey? How long? Is there a delay? Or tell us what your plans are with the bees besides being supportive of the environment.
Well, ideally we would like to get some honey, and really the way that you can go about harvesting honey is you just need to determine that there's enough for them to last through the winter, because that's why they're making honey, is so that the hive can survive when there's no nectar or pollen around. So they say that a beehive can require up to 60 or 70 pounds of honey to make it through the winter.
Oh my.
So if you have more than that, then you can take some. And the breed of bees that we got are actually supposed to be really good at shrinking down to a small colony size in the winter. So since we only have one beehive, we're thinking that might maximize our honey output.
Now, what does that mean, shrink down?
That means that they kick all of those drones out at the end of the summer, and anyone that's old, so they just get down to a necessary group of bees. But I mean, we would like to get some honey, but if that doesn't happen and we still have a healthy hive, I think we'd be happy.
Absolutely. You're not going to kick them out if they're not producing.
No, I wouldn't send them to another farm or
anything like
backyard. Yeah. Well,
do you name the bees?
Well, we have found that one of the best things about beekeeping is there's just an endless supply of bee-related puns. On the way over, my dad said, they probably invited you because of quilting bees, right?
Do you have sewing? Oh
we
man,
don't. We don't have sewing bees.
We could really get into this.
No, but the queen is named Latifa.
All right.
Because what else are you going to name?
What are you going to name?
Yes. Yeah, Cleopatra, but that would be boring. But everyone else, there are 10,000 of them, so it'd be hard to keep track.
Can't name them all. So, well, thank you, Sarah, for your time. Thanks for keeping bees and keeping our planet alive.
Well, I'm trying.
Yeah, well, and let us know if you have any questions about beekeeping. We will, of course, direct them to Sarah and her family, and she'll answer them for you. You didn't know that, right?
Yeah,
thanks,
hopefully
Sarah.
I know the answer.
Well, thanks for watching Inside Zede's Sewing Studio, and I hope you enjoyed the show.